What's up, fam? What's going on? You're now rocking with Ring Kings Boxing on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q. Quick report, man. Terence Bud Crawford and Errol the Truth Spence agreeing to terms on a November clash. This was reported by ESPN, among several other media outlets. And it's about damn time to actually, just to keep it real with you, man. We need unification in the welterweight division. It's been a long time since we had a unified welterweight champion holding all of the belts. And Errol Spence and Bud Crawford. And like I've said, I predict that this is going to be, it has the potential to be a trilogy. Both of these fighters, they have immense respect for each other. Both of these fighters are at the prime of their careers. And this will be probably Errol Spence's, I ain't gonna say probably one of his, it probably is his biggest fight. And the truth is something else, man. But listen, Bud Crawford out to try to prove him wrong, man. And this one is, he looks to, and definitely Bud's probably his toughest clash as a welterweight since he climbed up in that thing. And oddly enough, when you look at Terence Crawford's fights as a welter, you look at how he dispatched Porter, and you kind of look at some of the similarities, of course, how you seen what Spence did to Kell Brook. And then, of course, not quite the same as Bud took him on, but he was coming back to that weight for the first time in a while. So it'll be fun watching these two guys get it on. Let's get into the particulars from Boxing News 24/7 on the Scoop. Unified welterweight champion Errol the Truth Spence, 28-0 with 22 knockouts. And the WBO champ Terence Bud Crawford, who's 38-0 with 29 KOs, have agreed to terms for a fight on November the 19th in Las Vegas. The contracts still haven't been signed. However, as the legal team for the undefeated 140-pound champion still need to look it over before Spence and Crawford put pen to paper. Now, Spence, as many expected, gets the larger purse split. Crawford agreed to the deal, which contains a bilateral rematch clause. It's giving that we're going to see two fights between these great champions as long as the contests bring in a huge number of pay-per-view buys, which it will. You don't see fighters at this level between Spence and Crawford in the welterweight division. Now, of course, the future is bright with guys coming up like Ortiz and others. But listen, this will be a serious fight between these two. And I predict it'll be a trilogy matchup. Of course, right here, contractually speaking, you can see in the language of the article is telling you that they have a rematch clause that kicks in after the fight is over with. Now, it's unclear whether Crawford and Spence had already started a training camp for this fight weeks ago. If not, they don't have much time to train to get ready. I promise you those guys been training, man. They knew eventually this was going to happen. Like I said, prior to this taking place, when Crawford beat Ugas, and when Spence beat Ugas, and Terence was dealing with Porter, that I was like, you could talk all you want about where these guys are going to go, but ultimately they were on a train collision. They were heading a head-on-head collision. There was nowhere else for either one of these men to go but for unification. So the pressure of them, that finally puts them in place because they've been jawing at each other for years. And we finally going to see some good fighting, man, in the welterweight division between two of the best in the game. So for Spence, who blows up between fights, hopefully he's not too heavy because it could be difficult to drain down for the 180s to make the 147-pound limit in 2 months of training that he's been before. Now, listen, November the 19th, let me tell you something. I was looking at footage of Errol Spence fighting, and he looks in terrific shape. He's always in really good shape. And I just think Spence, and the same thing with Terence, is those guys are two special fighters, man. And they will be, them guys will not miss weight like Kambosos did in the Haney and Kambosos first matchup. It won't happen. These are professionals here. This fight is Crawford has been for years. He's been waiting on. He's finally gotten it. You can only hope for the sake that he doesn't live to regret it, because there's a big difference between fighting Spence than the likes of Jeff Horn, Amir Khan, Shoaib Porter, and Kell Brook. Errol Spence and Terence Crawford have agreed to all material terms for a fight for the undisputed heavyweight championship. and an event targeted for November 19th in Las Vegas. That's coming straight up from Coppinger. So that'll be fun to see that November the 19th matchup between these guys go down. And as you can see, this is the advertisement already getting together right here. As you can see, man, that somebody put together. Shout out to Dose of Genius on the graphic representation, man. This should hire this brother to do the poster work, man. But this is pretty much what we're dealing with, man. This is be a tremendous fight between Spence and Crawford. I'm looking forward to it, man. And let's do a little quick prediction while we're doing it at it. A lot of people like Errol Spence in this matchup. A lot of people like Bud Crawford. But I'm gonna give you my take on it right quick. I think I'm not gonna give a super extended take on it because that'll be something that we set up for another show. But me and rest in power to my brother Eddie Too Mean Johnson talked about this fight for years, and it was special. Finally, we'll be able to get this fight. He'd be watching from heaven. But I would have to say that in this fight between Spence and Crawford, who gets it, I would have to give it to Crawford. I think Terence Crawford represents a unique challenge for Errol Spence. I think Spence is a very talented fighter that can make adjustments. He has power. He could take a punch. But Terence Bud Crawford is something on a whole nother level. And I don't know if he's ever fought somebody. Matter of fact, I know he hasn't never fought a fighter of that caliber. And you could pretty much say the same about Bud and the welterweights. But this will be one of those fights where these two great fighters will bring out the absolute greatness of each other. They'll rise to another level, and this will definitely be a major pay-per-view buy, no doubt about it, man. To finally see the potential to have the welters unify for the first time in 15, 20 years, man. Of course, we're gonna be in the building in this one. So Spence and Crawford, man, set up for November the 19th, Saturday. It's going down, man. They just have to finish working on a few little legalities there, and it'll be on and popping. But listen, like I said, I got Crawford in this one against Spence, and they're gonna say, well, Q kind of expound upon that. I'll expound on that at a later date when we do the Spence versus Crawford actual preview fight. We'll go more into it. So with that being said, I'm gonna peace you guys out. And I appreciate you guys for joining me for this episode of Ring King Boxing. Please feel free to hit the like button and tell me who you think will win this fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Bud Crawford. Put it in the description section. Let me know, how do you see it playing out? So with that being said, I'm gonna peace you out on that with much love to the fam, and I'm out.